that is very important to understand when we are on the journey of increasing our yaqeen and strengthening our tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is how to differentiate between a thought that is ours, guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a thought that is from shaitan. Before we go deeper, let's get one thing clear. Your thoughts always come first, and then your feelings follow. So your emotions are simply just responses to your thoughts. What does that mean? Sometimes many of us, we suddenly get anxious, suddenly feel overwhelmed, suddenly get sad, angry, or just get a yucky feeling, is what I like to say in simple terms. Just have a very yucky feeling inside of you. And you don't know why. You don't know why you have that feeling. You don't know where it came from. But because we don't understand that feelings always come after a specific thought, our brain starts to look for signals of what is going wrong and start to overthink about why we are feeling a certain way. So, how can we stop that pattern? And how can we understand why we are feeling a certain way? And how can we counteract that feeling and build more trust and tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Let's set the record straight. Any negative emotion, sadness, pain, fear, doubt, is from shaitan and not from yourself, not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever you start to have any one of those feelings or any other negative feeling, stop in your tracks and take a breath, try to calm yourself down, and then backtrack. What thought was I having that made me feel this way? Sometimes you don't even realize. Sometimes you're driving and you see something and that triggers a response in your subconscious mind, remembering a situation that has occurred in the past, and it makes you feel that emotion as a response. So stop and try to backtrack your thoughts and see what thought triggered this feeling in me. When you backtrack your thoughts and recognize what specific thought caused that feeling as a response, you'll recognize that that thought is not from you, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't make us feel negative emotions. يُرِيدُ بِكُمَ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمَ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you, not hardship. So Allah, in our nature, has not made us to feel pain or doubt or fear. So moving forward, whenever you catch yourself having any sort of negative emotion, stop, backtrack to that thought, and realize that that specific thought is from shaitan. Now, it could be from two sources, shaitan or your subconscious. However, even if it's from your subconscious mind, based on experiences that have happened in the past, and so now your body's telling you, danger, or stop, this is going to make us sad, this is going to scare us, this is going to end up failing. The shaitan uses those thoughts in those beliefs in your subconscious mind and builds on it. He knows how to speak to you in your mind as if it's your own voice. That is one of his ways. That is one of the ways that shaitan works. He speaks in your own voice, in the way that you speak, in your language, to make you think and believe that those thoughts that you're having, even though they're negative, that they are yours. But now we learned that if those thoughts are creating a negative response in our body, that they are not from us, they are from shaitan. So once we recognize that, we're going to do our istighfar and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us that we believed those thoughts. But at the same time, we're not going to feel guilty about having those thoughts, because we recognize that they're not from us, that they're not from Allah, they're not from ourselves. It's not my innate nature to have those thoughts. It's from shaitan trying to cause me doubt and fear. And there are many specific ayat in the Quran that talk about how shaitan causes fears to the believers. It says, إِنَّمَا ذَلِكُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ يُخَوِّفُ أَوْلِيَاءَهُ. It is only shaitan who frightens you. So do not fear them, but fear me if you are true believers, Allah is saying. Shaitan instills fear upon people to weaken your reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is his job. And he does it in a very clever way. As I said, he makes you believe that it's your own thoughts, or he makes you believe that this is Allah talking to you. But you recognize now that any bad feeling is not from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Al-Mujadala, Ayah 10. إنما النجوى من الشيطان ليحزن الذين آمنوا. Secret talks, the secret whispers in your mind, are only inspired by shaitan to cause grief to the believers. Once you learn how to decipher between those thoughts, and once you learn that your emotions, your feelings are only a response to a thought that you had, you start to become hyper aware of your thoughts. And you are able to decipher between the thoughts that are from you or from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the thoughts that are from shaitan or from your subconscious, which the shaitan builds upon to cause you to overthink more and feel more despair and feel more pain and fear and doubt, whatever it is. As soon as you understand this divine truth and you apply it in your life, you apply it to yourself, you will start to feel ease. You will start to feel more tawakkul naturally on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your certainty, your yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will naturally increase, because you will be able to understand that those doubts and fears that arise are not from Allah. They are just shaitan trying to push you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trying to cause you the doubt to not believe that Allah is able to give you what you are asking for, that He's able to bless you with those blessings that is written, with the abundance that is written for everyone. And you'll know that from moving forward, once you have those thoughts and those feelings, to just do your istighfar with the intention of asking Allah to open up your basira, your eyesight, even more. So not just our, physical eyesight, but our heart. And to allow us to see more truths into ourselves, to recognize the difference between the waswasa of the shaitan and Allah's guidance to us subhanahu wa ta'ala.